Press the bell icon on the YouTube app to never miss a video from News Laundry.
Welcome to News Laundry Chhota Hafta. For the full episode, subscribe because it is behind the paywall and only subscribers get access to uncut, complete content. News Laundry Hafta is our weekly wrap of all that made the news, all that didn't, and all that should have and all that shouldn't have. We agree, we disagree, we critique, and occasionally we beat each other up. But it's all good fun. Subscribe.
This is a News Laundry podcast and you're listening to NL Hafta.
अंग्रेज अपना लगान और न्यूज़ लॉन्ड्री अपना हफ्ता कभी नहीं छोड़ते. Therefore, we are back with the Hafta. I am Abhinandan Sekhri. So joining us on the Hafta today, we have our in-house panel, our managing editor Raman Kripal.
Hi.
And Anand Vardhan. Hello, Anand.
Hello.
Manisha is joining us from her house because she has, I don't know, she's done something to her ankle. She fell or something.
I sprained it.
You sprained it because usually when she's in...
I have a soft tissue injury.
And joining us from Mumbai is our panelist Amit Varma. Hi, Amit.
Hey, Abhinandan, what's up? Pleased to be here.
Well, pleasure to have you. I'll just introduce you to our guests. Amit is an extremely accomplished media professional. He's a writer and columnist. In fact, I see his little blurbs on Times of India that appear every day, right? Or is it
I used to write weekly limericks for them. Now I write columns occasionally for them. The limericks have kind of stopped for a while.
Right. So he's based out of Mumbai. He's been a journalist since 2001. He was managing editor of Cricinfo for a few years and has been a columnist for every major Indian publication. He's the editor of thinkpragati.com. He's won the prestigious Basia Prize for Journalism in 2007 and 2015. And he's also known for his blog, India Uncut, and his podcast, The Seen and Unseen. Meanwhile, I'll just tell you what dominated news headlines, front page and debates the last week. There was Justice Sekhri's controversy regarding his post-retirement assignment, which he has now...
The unending CBI saga.
Yeah, now that's...
Every week there's a new twist.
Exactly. Although he's now kind of said that he will not take up that post. And the post that he had been approved for was the London-based Commonwealth Secretariat Arbitral Tribunal. So that was one. Then, of course, there was the usual CBI saga. Like she said, Prashant Bhushan has moved court, saying that the new person cannot take charge. Then the biggest news of the week, which actually was noisiest, was the former student union leaders Kanhaiya Kumar, Umar Khalid and a few others have been charged with sedition. The charge sheet has been filed. That led to major fireworks on channels. It was very entertaining. I'm sure it's worrying for the people involved, but I did not see such hysteria in a long time, and every now and then it was just good to check it out. Then Rajkumar Hirani has been accused of sexual assault by a woman working on the sets of Sanju. It did not got that much coverage, but I read a few pieces about it. I'd just like to ask the panel what they think of is the Me Too kind of died? That's why one doesn't hear about it, and what is the reasons for its kind of, well, not death, but it not being as visible as it was some time ago. Then the Caravan did a cover story on Ajit Doval's sons, who run a web of, one of them who runs a web of companies, including a Cayman Island-based hedge fund. That story was making major rounds online till yesterday. I haven't seen it been picked up by legacy media yet. I wonder why. And Modi wins the first ever Philip Kotler Presidential Award. What is this award? Bhai, it has caused so much of confusion and debate. Philip Kotler has stepped in. Some website has gone missing. Maybe we can shed some light on what that was about. And no BJP Rath Yatra for now in Bengal, says the Supreme Court. And they say the Bengal government's worry is not unfounded. But can I just start off with, I'll just come to Amit and then we'll come to Manisha. There was a report on, which was not confirmed, that Arun Jaitley is gone for cancer treatment. I think the Wire reported that.
Yeah, Wire reported.
And of course, there's no confirmation for that. They said he may not be back to present the budget. Today we hear he will probably be back to present the budget. I just wanted to know from everyone, starting with Amit, the ethics of, I don't know whether he has cancer or not. I have no reason to believe it yet because no one from that side has said so. But in case he does, or he has some illness. And I remember a similar debate had come during Sonia's time, and that was treated quite differential. She was overseas for treatment. No one knew where she was, what the treatment was. There was speculation, but no news media reported it as such. And I remember there were rumors that it's cancer, someone saying it's not cancer. Is it okay for a news media outfit to go public like this on someone because maybe he hasn't told his family? The ethics of it. Or if you're a public person, it's all game.
I think as far, even public people have private lives. So in the case of Sonia Gandhi, for example, I would say that no, sometimes you need to respect privacy. But in Mr. Jaitley's case, he's actually a minister in the government. He's working for us. He's by definition a public servant. And I think it's fair enough to a certain extent to know what the situation is. Is he, fulfilling his duties? Is he fit to do what he's... I mean, one can, of course, say that the finance ministry is anyway run from the PMO, so what difference does it make? But regardless of that, I think when it comes to ministers and public servants, the media has not just a right, but a duty to sort of keep the public abreast of what is happening. But otherwise, I would say private lives are private lives. We should not get too much into them. And in our polarized times, the way the discourse is kind of, yesterday Amit Shah was, I think, said he had swine flu and was taking treatment for it. And the amount of snark on Twitter about that is quite distressing. I mean, I'm an opponent of Modi and Shah, but nevertheless, these are things which I think one should not really comment much on. And in Shah's case, he's not even technically a public servant. He's a president of a party. So it's fine. It's when my taxpayers' money is involved that I'm concerned and I want to hold those people accountable. So, how long Mr. Jaitley will be absent and unable to do his duties is a matter for the media to look into.
Yeah, I agree to some extent, but I was wondering about just the cancer bit. Manisha, could you come in, that he has cancer?
What I do know is that this news was doing the rounds for about 2 days, and no one in the mainstream media wanted to report on it. But reporters sort of knew that this was happening. And then Wire, of course, published a piece. I'm sure that such a thing you wouldn't publish without having some solid sources telling you that he does have cancer. I think it'd be very, very irresponsible if they just published it without actually confirming that he has cancer. And your question is basically, it's okay to say if he's unwell and should you mention the disease if
exactly. You can say that he's there for treatment, but should one say he has cancer if it's not public?
I think if you're a public person and he holds a public post, there should be discussions around this. And you should tell people, look at Bollywood, whenever any of these stars have cancers, they post pictures, or Irfan Khan wrote a whole long post about the disease he has. So I do think if you're in a public space, there should be healthy conversations around it. If he's unwell, he's gone for treatment, It shouldn't be like this, can't talk about this, hush thing.
Now, coming to the award, let's get the frivolous stuff out of the way first. Anand, why don't you start this time and then we'll go to Amit. What is... I mean, let me just frame this. What I think the problem is, award milte aate hain, jaate hain. The thing is, because this award, the person who was giving it, the people involved suddenly deleted their website, they deleted their Twitter accounts, the address, the link did not exist. I mean, and when the Prime Minister of the country takes an award, यार वो तो हमारे इंटरव्यू के लिए भी नहीं आते. मतलब, if you want to give something to someone, even news professionals, for example, you're often invited by foundations for a conference where they fly you and fly you back. Even I checked 10 times, because kal the funding of that foundation is related to some, Ulfa or some J&K Independence Front type. Then as a news professional, you're in shit. So even a tucha like me checks 10 times before I accept any invitation for anything. I was expecting the Prime Minister to do a more thorough check. So they have specific answers. So I thought on that it was kind of shabby. Anand.
I think we still don't know much about it. So
because they are not telling us.
What I'm saying is that we don't know whether it was an authentic award or not. We don't know whether it was not an authentic award. Whether it was, we don't know also. Not Prime Minister, but I don't expect Prime Minister to have time for that. But yes, Prime Minister's office should check. There have been precedents in which public personalities share dubious stages, like this 250 rupees mobile. And Murli Manohar Joshi and a lot of leaders were sharing the stage when it was
bells. What was it? Ringing bells.
Ringing bells. So when it was launched, Murli Manohar Joshi was one high-profile one, but other leaders also shared the stage for its launch. Now, getting into the antecedents of people who are awarding you or who are trying to launch something in your presence is tricky, but it can be done. The due diligence can be done. Philip Kotler has cleared a bit of air by stepping in and saying that yes, he is a known marketing figure, and many MBA students, their primary textbook is written by him. So that has been a saving grace for the Prime Minister, that he has stepped in and he authenticated that. But still, the paraphernalia that was involved in awarding the Prime Minister is still dubious, I think.
Amit, do you think it's done damage to our Prime Minister's image as the marketing genius by some very clumsy defenses of the BJP spokespersons on television regarding this award?
Definitely, and I have sort of two comments to make on this. One assumes the award is genuine, one assumes it's not. If the award is genuine, I think there should be a norm in place for public servants to not accept awards of any kind, because they lead to conflicts of interest. So, things like the Nobel Prize and all is okay, but they should simply not receive any private awards, in the same way that there is a norm which is not followed. But for government servants, on Diwali, if they are sent anything more than mithais, they send it back. So you have to avoid not just a conflict of interest, but the appearance of a conflict of interest. So it should be a norm to just reject all awards. Secondly, I think, look, this doesn't really seem to be a genuine award. It's done for optics, which leads to the question of who is this done for? Because, Modi's prime constituency would not even know who Kotler is. And, only Lutyens really would know who Kotler is, and they're not going to buy into the shit. So, who was it for? It's just, the whole thing was very silly and shabbily orchestrated.
Manisha, please tell us about the whole JNU fracas, because you've been following the story for a long time. Just lay the context quickly and your comment on how the media covered it.
So the Delhi police on Monday basically filed a charge sheet in the sedition case. This is from 2016, the famous JNU case where Kanhaiya Kumar, Umar Khalid and Anirban Bhattacharya were charged with sedition. Slogans were raised in JNU, and the complaint was filed back then. So it's been 3 years. And now the charge sheet has been filed, and interestingly, it has been leaked to certain media groups. And none of the guys charge sheeted have received it yet. So Umar Khalid and Kanhaiya and all have not read it. I have read excerpts of it again from the media groups that it's been circulating in, and it's very, one would really have, it's a very big charge sheet, it's some 1200 pages. But from what you read, the police does say that they don't see Kanhaiya raising slogans.
Yeah.
And anyone who's covered this case would tell you that there were slogans chanted, like Kashmir ki Azadi or
Bharat Tere Tukde
Honge. All that was chanted. There were videos, but in those videos, these were masked boys. And nowhere can you see Kanhaiya, Umar or Anirban anywhere in these videos.
And those boys have vanished. And there was a press conference yesterday where a former ABVP functionary has claimed that it was the ABVP behind it. And when this happened, plot was he was part of the ABVP. How credible is that allegation?
ABVP had called Z News. So the story was that ABVP called Z News, and then Z News ran a story, and then media picked it up. And the sedition cases, everything else followed the media coverage. So it was the media actually that right in the first 2 days, there were like Arnab, Rahul Shankar, Sudhir Chaudhary saying that ye deshdroh ho raha hai aur kya iske against action lenge.
And they actually used the charge sheet to pat themselves on the back, saying we were right all along. It's like
in fact,
it's like a loop. You know that when the audio loop happens, the speaker goes on the mic goes on the speaker, and that thing happens.
No, Z also claimed that they have read every word of the charge sheet. So they have the charge sheet. They have claimed it on TV.
But the charge sheet is very, it says stuff like, we have proof of SMS's proof that Umar Khalid called Kanhaiya to Ganga Dhaba. He could have, of course, the event was organized by these guys. And of course, they exchanged posters or emails discussing how to go about organizing it. But that doesn't lead to anything. That's hardly a proof. And again, if you look at the history of sedition cases, there has to be an imminent incitement to violence, which has not happened in this case. Mere chanting, I can actually, even if Kanhaiya had said Bharat Tere Tukde Honge, you can't charge him under sedition.
Rahul Gandhi's, I think, following Shashi Tharoor's article, which he was roasted for on Twitter, where he kind of justified the traditional conservative stance of not allowing women to enter Sabrimala, saying it is not an issue of misogyny. It is an issue of this deity being celibate. And we've, of course, discussed this in the past as well. But what I want to discuss now is that Congress is kind of trying to do this monkey balancing act because it is clearly an electoral issue that can have significant impact in Kerala. Manisha, why don't we start with you?
On the Sabrimala, well, I mean, Congress has always done the monkey balancing. It was Harish Rawat, I think, who made some remarks on beef also and said that cow slaughter ban hona chahiye, whatever. Or in MP, you had their manifesto talking about gaushalas and all. So I'm not really surprised.
But is it? But my question is, you think there's a problem that debates on this lack nuance? Like one side will say, see, they are also monkey balancing. The other side will say, see, we were right all along. Without putting out there with the anchor saying that in electoral politics, there are certain, every decision is not, just like in foreign international relations, this guy who's been extradited from, what's his full name? Michael what? Christian Michael. His family has gone to the UN saying that it's a human rights violation because the exchange was an exchange of that Saudi princess or that princess from UAE who had come here trying to flee from her family, and India gave her back to the family. And that's a human rights violation, and this is a trade for that. While that may be true, neither politics nor international relations are conducted on idealism alone. Is there a lack of acknowledgement on that, even in commentary?
Yeah, and you see that with that famous stock phrase, like, why are you politicizing the issue, which every political spokesperson is asked. And of course, he's a politician and he will politicize. But yeah, I don't even think this is worth a primetime debate. I mean, it's not like Congress came out in the beginning and said, oh, we're going to totally stand with the women and we're going to let them enter. It's not like there's not a U-turn, so to speak, or a hypocrisy, a very apparent hypocrisy that's been exposed.
They were always playing safe.
They've always been like dilly-dallying. One person will say something, Manish Tiwari will say something else. They've not really put their weight behind the issue anyway for it to be a shocker.
Raman sir?
The moment it became political, the moment the Supreme Court gave a decision on it, now, at the end of the day, I think that the Kerala CM is completely isolated on the issue. He's trying his very hard to implement it. And all other political parties, I mean, Congress initially was not speaking much on the issue, but now, yes, they are also speaking the same tone that the BJP is, for political reasons, of course. So, I personally feel that it's not I mean, they are trying to call it's a question of faith. But I think it is a question of that freedom as Supreme Court defined in this.
So you think it's not that?
Yes, I strongly feel that it is still a gender issue.
Let's start with Amit before we come to recommendations on UP. How much of a sign of respect is this to the Congress by not contesting 4 seats?
I don't know the historical reasons for why parties do this, so I really can't comment. But it's interesting. I read this analysis by Yogendra Yadav about what this would mean for UP, the sort of seat divisions and all of that. And all the different scenarios that he comes up with have basically the BJP and the SP-BSP alliance kind of splitting it one way or the other with the balance shifting, but the Congress getting really very little out of it, which is quite interesting, and if that therefore means that the BJP gets say around 150, 160, 170 seats in a worst case scenario for them, what do you guys think the next government would consist of, would look like?
See, this is the ground situation. I mean, Congress has been decimated in UP, and the two parties, if you look at the voting trend also, so they are the ones who finish first and second in most of the constituencies. But having said that, we cannot forget that Rahul Gandhi once, when he initially came into politics, and the Congress had 121 seats from UP, if I'm not wrong.
22, yes.
22 seats, right? So this time, I think it's going to be it will be very interesting to see how Rahul Gandhi is going to respond to it, how the Congress is going to respond to it. I feel that Sonia Gandhi is not going to contest from Raebareli.
Oh, really?
It's just an apprehension by talking to few politicians in the party. So if she doesn't contest, then who is going to? So looking at the past, in 2004, I had gone to Raebareli, covering when Satish Mishra had handed over this to Sonia Gandhi. If she doesn't contest, I see the second most popular person over there is Priyanka Gandhi. Okay, she knows people by name in that constituency. She's the one, she was the campaign manager of her mother all this while. So if Priyanka Gandhi contests from UP, and as the rumors are that Arun Gandhi also joins the Congress. So the two guys making a team, a formidable team to lead the UP charge, that is going to be very interesting.
Anand,
But having said that, I must say that in terms of an organization, Congress is very weak.
No, but
so the challenge is coming from the top. The two top leaders, if they can generate, some kind of heat.
But as Amit asked, if there's 150 to 170 seats, which the BJP gets, what would the next government look like? Would it be an NDA government at all?
No, if there will be an NDA government, it will be a minus
with Modi.
Minus Modi.
Minus Modi. So you think there'll be a PM other than Modi from the BJP? Okay, that's Amit. That is
That I don't think so.
So
No,
Manisha,
in case there are
Highly unlikely.
no, in case BJP gets 170 to 190, it will be minus
Modi.
सुन लिया अफ्रीका मुफत खोरों. Not to brag or anything, but News Laundry Hafta features in the top 50 in the world on SoundCloud in the news and politics category for podcasts. So do subscribe and see what you're missing, because when the public pays, the public is served. When advertisers pay, advertisers are served. Subscribe, help keep news independent and free.
All News Laundry podcasts are available on iTunes and Stitcher and any other podcast platform.